So the Scottish National Party, SNP, have won a landslide in Scotland in the UK general elections for 2015. In total, there are 650 areas or constituencies across the UK. Each was voting to elect a representative for Westminster, a Member of Parliament as they are known. Out of those 650 areas, 59 of those areas are Scotland. So Scotland is divided up into 59 constituencies or areas when it comes to Members of Parliament for Westminster. Each area, of course, has a single Member of Parliament. In these elections, the SNP won no less than 56 of those 59 seats. The only 3 areas not to elect a SNP Member of Parliament was Edinburgh South, Dumfriesshire, Clydesdale and Tweedale, and Orkney and Shetland. Edinburgh South was held by Labour. The Conservatives held Dumfriesshire, Clydesdale and Tweedale, and Orkney and Shetland, which was the one constituency that many exit polls, even the one that featured the SNP winning all but one seat, said that the SNP would not win, and that was something we all knew. We all knew that Orkney and Shetland would be held by the Liberal Democrats, that they would continue to hold that particular constituency or area. Scotland is now blanketed in SNP yellow and black. Scottish National Party is, of course, the party in power at the Scottish Parliament, Holyrood. They are the ones running Scotland in our devolved Parliament. Well, as a Scottish National Party supporter, looking at the results of Thursday's voting, I'm extremely happy. I've said it before, I am an SNP supporter, and I did vote for Chris Law in Dundee West, which is the constituency which I live in, and of course he won. He took it from Michael Manor of Labour, not the singer Michael Manor, who sadly passed away, but Michael Manor of the Labour Member of Parliament. And I have to say, I have always been a bit wary of these kind of exit polls, these opinion polls, obviously because it's such a simple thing. Say there's 100 people voting in an election in an area, just to keep it simple with percentages. If I was to run an opinion poll, I could go and ask 10 people, so 10% of the voters I ask. Those 10 people could say Labour is going to win this constituency seat. Labour is going to be having one more Member of Parliament. But when it comes to the polling day, when it comes to the voting, the other 90 people could say no, the SNP are who we wish to vote for. And so the other 90 people, they go and vote for SNP. So SNP wins the seat, obviously 90, far more than 10. So that could happen, and that could happen on a regular basis. And obviously, as I said on my podcast, when I spend a good hour talking about what happened in this general election, which you can find on podomatic.com and on iTunes. Just search for the Neil Malone podcast, or Neil Malone's podcast on Podomatic and on iTunes. I spend an hour looking at the results in Scotland, my opinions, and raising some questions that will have to be asked now going forward when we look at the results overall. Obviously the Conservative Party got elected across the UK. They won a total, I have the numbers right in front of me, just clicking to the right page, 330 out of the 650 constituencies in the UK, the magic number to form a government was of course 326, which means that David Cameron, the leader of the Conservative Party, is now once again the Prime Minister, or continues to be the Prime Minister really. Technically, he continues to be the Prime Minister because he wasn't actually out of power as Prime Minister, although the Parliament was dissolved a few weeks ago. He still holds that position in case of emergency, in case of any natural disasters, atrocities, terrorist actions, any kind of emergency that would require somebody at the helm. He would actually have to, somebody would have to be leading and acting to handle whatever emergency or situation that comes up. So he's kind of kept on. Now, the thing about this election, obviously, as I said, 56 out of the 59 seats in Scotland went to the Scottish National Party. This does mean a little bit. It does mean we can make it a little bit weird. Of course, you know, Scotland voted for SNP, but the Conservative Party won more seats than anybody else, so they will so they are forming a government, or have formed a government. David Cameron visited Her Majesty the Queen just yesterday, yesterday morning. Obviously they have to go through, but I also said before, I consider myself Scottish, not British, and I do not consider myself a subject of Her Majesty or any other member of the royal family. But it is kind of a tradition. I think it's even still in law because of the many years of the years of kings and queens. It's still a bit quite in law. David Cameron had to go and visit Buckingham Palace to see Her Majesty the Queen, where she would accept she did accept the official results the way that supposedly her people voted, and she then asked obviously David Cameron to form a government, which he is currently in the process of doing. So, you know, that is what happened. And you know, it does raise some serious questions. Though, like I said on the podcast, you can go and listen to the podcast up in podomatic.com and iTunes. But the thing is about these results, it certainly seems to me that Scotland, out of the 59 seats, gave SNP, the Scottish National Party, 56 of those. So to me, this means that the SNP were embraced by the people of Scotland, obviously, and that the Liberal Democrats, the Labour Party, and the Conservative Party, who all won just a single seat in Scotland, were rejected by the people of Scotland. The people of Scotland said, no, we don't want the Liberal Democrats. No, we don't want Labour. No, we don't want the Conservative Party. Scotland rejects those three parties. And I've said before, I believe that the supposed Scottish Labour, the Scottish Conservatives, the Scottish Liberal Democrats, they take their orders from London. They take their orders from the English party leaders. They are supposed to kind of act with Conservative or Labour or Liberal Democrat values and ways of doing methods, and you know, and really they're supposed to take those values and use them in Scotland and apply it to the Scottish culture, the Scottish way of doing things, so they adapt it to suit Scotland and to help better Scotland. But to be honest, I don't think they have it. Joanne Lamont, I keep quoting this, I've quoted on the podcast, quoted on these last couple of videos. Joanne Lamont resigned as Scottish Labour leader because she was being told what to do, what to say, when to say it, and when to do it, when to do something. That has been my opinion for many, many years, and it certainly, as I said, with 56 of the 59 seats going to the Scottish National Party, it seems that Scotland has rejected Labour, has rejected the Liberal Democrats, and certainly has rejected the Conservative Party. Now, obviously, The UK political scene has been really shaken up. Uh, Scottish Labour leader Jim Murphy, after losing his seat in this election, may be removed by a board or committee of Labour in Scotland. That is yet to be decided whether he can continue as the Scottish Labour leader. And obviously, of course, we have witnessed the resignation of Ed Miliband, who was the Labour leader and really and last Parliament leader of the opposition. He has resigned from as leader of Labour, and Nick Clegg, who was the Deputy Prime Minister until these elections, he has also resigned as the leader of the Liberal Democrats. So, quite a seismic change going on in UK politics, and obviously the whole question means, what does this mean for Scotland? What will the relationship be between the two parliaments, Holyrood and Westminster? And of course, the most important question, I think, in all of this, for the people of Scotland, for the members of Parliament that were voted in to represent Scotland in Westminster, and for the future of Scotland, is what will this mean come May the 5th next year, in 2016, May the 5th. That is the date that will is currently scheduled, and I don't believe it should move. I don't think it will move. What will this mean when it comes to the Scottish general elections? What will this all mean when it comes time for the people of Scotland to vote in our Parliament, and what political party will hold the momentum when it comes to the Scottish general election next year? Is this a case, like I said, permanently the Scottish people rejecting Labour, rejecting Liberal Democrats, and rejecting the Conservative Party? Will this be the peak of the SNP? Who knows? It all depends on who will take over these political parties in the UK, how they bounce back, what momentum, and obviously a very important question, of course, is how will the Scottish National Party do with all of these representatives in Westminster? If they don't do well over the course of the next about 10-11 months, they may find themselves out of Holyrood come May the 6th next year. Hopefully that is not the case. Hopefully they can do well. As an SNP supporter, hopefully the Scottish National Party can do well and keep pushing, because I truly believe that the SNP, being an individual party, a party not ruled by any other, they're not a variation, they're not a branch of any English political party or any party from anywhere else. I believe, and it seems that the people of Scotland truly believe, that the SNP, the Scottish National Party, is the voice of Scotland, and they will be the ones to make our voices heard as loudly and as understood as much as possible in Westminster and across the UK, and hopefully across the world as well. But as I said, it's going to be a really great time in the next 12 months as we lead up to the Scottish general election happening again May the 5th, 2016. But certainly, congratulations to everybody involved in the Scottish National Party campaign. 56 seats out of 59. Any other political party would bite your hand off to get that kind of result, and I do hope that SNP can work together and bring this country of Scotland forward and genuinely be the voice of a nation.